How's everybody doing today? Well, today's craft is going to be a little different from the subject we've been working with for the past 2 weeks. Today's subject is vinyl cutting. Now, there's many different options out there. You've heard of Cricut, you've heard of Silhouette, you've heard of Brother. I have a Silhouette. Now, no one make fun of me because this Silhouette belonged to my fiance, but I've used it a lot more than she has. I still have to teach her how to use it. So, stay tuned to this video and let's see how it works. So, if anyone's ever used a vinyl cutter, you're going to require a couple tools. Let me show you what we're going to need to do today's project. So the first thing and most obvious thing is the machine itself. The machine I'll be using today is Silhouette's Cameo 4. Now this is why I said don't make fun of me. Yes, I know it's pink, but hey, if it works, then it works. This Silhouette has a auto blade I'll be using today. Next I'll be using is a silver glitter vinyl. This here is going to be the transfer tape. I'll talk about this more in a minute, but trust me, you're going to love what I have to say about it. This is the squeegee tool. You'll learn about this in a moment. Scotch tape. Always comes in handy. Scotch tape is definitely a necessity. And I'll also be using a light pink vinyl as well for this. This is going to be a 2-part layer, so stay tuned for that. So, when you're doing a vinyl cut, most important thing, know your measurements. When you know your measurements, you get a good project. So, today's project I'm going to be working on is a bottle. It's my fiance's drinking bottle she uses almost every single day. A couple of her coworkers have the exact same one, so she wanted to make sure they can identify whose is whose. So I'm going to be putting the letter E on hers for Emily. First thing you got to figure out exactly how big is the container, how big do you want it to be, do you want a tiny letter, do you want a big letter, do you want a medium size? You got to know these things. My fiance wants a medium-sized letter. She doesn't want it to take over the entire container, so I'm going to measure out exactly what space I'm going to be using so I know what size letter to make. Just grab a tape measure. I got 8 inches on that. So cut that in half. I'm about 4 inches, so let's make the letter E about 4 inches tall. Now I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to get that letter E all started on the program, and I'll be right back to show you exactly how we're going to cut it. Stay tuned. So here we are, guys. If anyone has the Silhouette machine, this is going to be the program that we're going to be using. This is called Silhouette Studio. Now, mine may look a tiny bit different from anybody else's. I have the Silhouette Studio Business Edition, which gives me all the features that I need because I do this pretty occasionally. Now, the Basic Edition, don't get me wrong, fantastic edition, but I ended up doing this so much, I was like, I need some more bells and whistles, so I upgraded. It's actually pretty cool when you upgrade to it. It's got a lot more features, but what I'm going to be doing today are just simple features. So let me show you exactly what we got. So this is exactly what I have here. Let me expand that size just a bit. Now this is not going to be the size I'm going to cut it. I'm just making it a little bit bigger so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing to get a more general view on it. Now, this letter E, I got this off of a website that I use to grab most of my fonts when I have to do letters and stuff like that. That website is called fontmeme.com. I'll show you it right here. Fontmeme.com. fontmeme.com. I use this for almost all of my fonts I'm looking for. It's a great website, and you can do it 2 different ways. You can download the font, save it to your computer, and have it all the time, or if you're just using it for a one-time deal, you can save the file as a PNG, which will then reopen in the Silhouette program as a STL, which is a cut file basically. So let's go back over to Silhouette. Alright, so my fiance looked at the letter E and she was like, I like it, but can you make it a little bit thicker? Of course I can. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the letter E, I'm going to click on it. And if you go over here to this star with a line around it, that's called the offset. Now, if you're looking at these hearts here, look where the red line is going to be. That's where it's going to kind of show when I make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to dial this down just a smidge so I can make sure those hearts and that curvature with the point in the center is actually a little bit showing. Alright, I'm going to hit apply here. Now, as you can see there, that red line, I'm going to change that. Let's make it black. And I'm going to hide my cut line just for a second so I can kind of give you guys an idea. 1 second. There we go. Okay. So that made it a little bit thicker so you guys can kind of make a print look more pop. Now, even though we changed the color to black and we disappeared the cut line, if I actually go in here and let me just change it to white so I can show you guys, that line is still in there because it's actually two different shapes on top of one. What we need to do is make it into one shape. There's many different ways to do it, but I do it this way. So I got my whole shape here. I don't see any cut lines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace it exactly the way I see it because that's exactly the way I want it to be. So when I click on here, I'm going to hit select trace area. I'm going to go right over it and it's going to grab all of it because it's in a nice black color. I'll hit trace. Now, by taking my mouse, if I click on it, I can pull that away. And there's actually two shapes there. Don't forget that. Because we expanded it right here. Same thing with the hearts. There's going to be two shapes. Get rid of all of those. And I'm going to erase all of these. Because I have exactly what I want now. Right here as one designated shape. Now, I want to change this up just a tiny bit. My fiance requested that the hearts be a different color from the letter E. That is perfectly fine. If you click on it, you can see, oh no, I can't do anything. They're all connected. Okay, that's fine. What we're going to do, we're going to right click on it. We're going to go down here and we're going to release the compound path. Now, you can see here, that filled in that hole there into a solid color because we released the path. I'm not going to touch any of these hearts because I need them to be separated into one. All I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my mouse and I'm going to hover over the E and that circle there. I'm going to right click and I'm going to make the path again. Now it's one designated path on here. And the hearts are their own path. I could move them around if I wanted to, but I want them to stay exactly where they're at. So what I'm also going to do, I'm going to shift my key really quick. I'm going to click on every single heart. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to group those together. I want them to be exactly together so they move all about with each other. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to show you exactly what I kind of do so I can get a general idea. She wanted to go with a glitter, so I downloaded a picture of glitter so I can kind of get a reference idea of it. And then the hearts, she just wanted to go with a simple pink, so I'm going to click on the pink here. Now let me get rid of those red lines so you guys can kind of get a more general idea of it. And just for a second, I'm going to group them together because I got to move them out of the way and I want them to stay exactly in their spots where they're at. So I'm going to shift this over to the side. And what I like to do to get a more general idea, what I'm going to do here, let's make a box. Let's rectangle. And let's make the whole thing purple. So we're making it on a purple container. Gives us more of an idea of exactly what it's going to look like. Oh, so you see there? Oh, it's gone. What happened? When we made the purple, it brought itself to the front. You want to right click on it and send it all the way to the back so we can put things over top of it. Now you can see here that's exactly what she did not want. She didn't want it to be extremely big like that. So I'm going to size it down. And we could do it two separate ways. We could do it this way until we got the height exactly where we want to be at. So I said about 4. That's okay right there. And the space we said for the box itself was 8, so I'm going to change that height to 8. And last but not least, this is just so I can kind of get a reference point. You don't have to do this obviously because you'll be doing it by hand. I like to center it all so I can see exactly what it kind of looks like. And there we go. Okay guys, so one key important piece I forgot to mention was the cutting mat. This is what we're going to be using to put it through the machine. Silhouettes can do directly with the vinyl or with a cutting mat. Because I'm using a sheet, I'm going to be using a cutting mat to help you guys get a better idea of it. So, we have my vinyl that I'm going to be using. And we already kind of know exactly the size, so what we're going to do, we're going to cut this down to size. So, give me 1 second, I'll cut that down, and then we'll come right back. Now, as you can see here, that keeps happening. That's where the Scotch tape comes in handy. This happens occasionally, especially if it's been rolled up for a while. It's like hard for it to stay flat. So you want to kind of get it down there. And even though the mat's supposed to be sticky and everything, after a few cuts and everything, sometimes it loses its tackiness. So I just take a piece of tape and I throw it on there, and that helps me keep it down. Because when it's going through the machine, trust me, you do not want it to move at all while it's cutting. Now, this is a little bit bigger than what we need it to be. I have it exactly set to about close to 7 inches. You can also see here, well, can't tell, but I'll zoom in here. There's a 7 on there. And I made it a bit wide, which is fine. So once you have it all set up here, you know, it's kind of flushed down and everything like that. You got it all good there. You're going to put it through the machine. Now on a Silhouette, and I'm pretty sure on a Cricut as well, there's going to be like a line. That's the edge of your cutting mat where you want to put it at. So I'm going to put it in there. And right over here is some arrows and the Bluetooth button. I'm going to click on the very first arrow, which is pointing up, but it also means it's going in. So I'm going to press that, and it's going to take it right on in, no issues at all. Now it's locked in place and it's ready to cut. We're going to go back over to the computer so I can show you exactly what I'm going to do next. So, what we want to do, we want to start with just a glitter. We don't want to touch the hearts because they're going to be a different color. We just want the letter E. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the hearts and I'm going to pull them over here to the gray area. I'll explain why in a second. I'm going to take the letter E and I'm going to move it over here in the corner because that's exactly where we put it at on the cutting mat. After that, we're going to go over here to the send button. And once everything is situated here, we want to make sure that we have the right type of vinyl that we're going to cut. So you want to go here to vinyl glossy, and you want to change that to vinyl glitter. All the settings will get changed here so it knows exactly what it needs to cut. After that, down here it says ready to load. So all we got to do is hit the send button, push it through, and we are good to go. So now you can see why I moved the hearts to the side. If I would have left them over here, it would have tried to cut the hearts on the silver paper as well, and we don't want that. So I'm going to go up here to the top and back to design. I'm going to click on the E and I'm going to move it over to the gray. I'm going to grab the hearts and I'm going to bring them over here, because now we're going to cut the hearts. Let's go back to send. They're all set. The only thing we need to change, guys, is the setting of the vinyl. We're not cutting glitter now. We are cutting a smooth vinyl or a glossy vinyl. Many different names, but this one is called glossy. So I'm going to click on glossy vinyl. It presets and changes everything for me. And now we're going to go back to the printer. And I'm going to send it through. And it's as easy as that, guys. Now you can see I put the whole sheet on there. I can cut the sheet back down and just cut off the pieces that I need, because I can still use that entire sheet for more projects. Okay guys, so this is one of my favorite parts about doing vinyl cutting. This is called weeding. Obviously, I'm not going to take that entire piece of paint and put it right down on the project. We need to get the shapes that we only want. It cut it, but now we got to get rid of the excess stuff. So, I got my weeding tool. It's a little bit of a fine point tool. I like to grab the corner and just kind of dig underneath a little bit. Sometimes you get underneath the paper, that's fine. You just got to pluck at it just a tiny bit here. And when you peel, whatever was cut stays right on down. Again, we're going to do that with this one. Now, I taped it down on the table so it doesn't flip up while I'm trying to do it. Try to get that, okay. Sometimes that happens, it's okay. Grab this here. Okay, there we go. Looks like the tape's going to follow us though, which is fine. Get that all up there. Bam. And we can't forget the middle piece here where the hole was. Bam. Just like that. And that is weeding. I think that E came out pretty good. Now, we're going to show you exactly how we're going to put it directly to the bottle. That's where our transfer tape comes in. Let me show you exactly why you're going to love this. So, this is the transfer paper that I'm going to be using. The reason you guys are going to love this is because what it actually is a shelf and a drawer liner made by Quick Cover. I can use it for transfer tape. It's the cheapest route possible, and you get more bang for your buck. The reason I say that, this is sold at the dollar store, guys. Exactly over in the aisle where you can find the drawer liners and stuff like that. Clear drawer liners works fantastic as transfer tape. If you go to any other store, Michael's, Joann, you're going to be spending a little bit more. I got this whole roll for $1. That's why this is awesome. Let me show exactly how it works now. Okay guys, so I cut off my piece of transfer paper. I cut it down to the size so it's going to fit over the E, and it's going to fit over the hearts. That's the cool part. You can reuse it. So I'm going to peel it off. Sometimes it's fidgety, so give me a minute here. Got that peeled off. And I'm going to lay it right over top of the E here. I'm going to take my squeegee tool. I'm just going to rub that down like I'm putting a screen protector on a phone. I'm going to get all those air bubbles out. You want to make sure it's nice and tight on there. Rub that down really good. Make sure it's nice and flat. Get it on there real good. Keep smoothing it out. You want to make sure it's just stuck on there pretty well. And like how I kind of kept a little bit up here, you want to kind of do that. Now, you can see here it's not coming off. sometimes that will happen. So what you want to do, you want to kind of take the entire piece. What I like to do is kind of like a sticker idea. So I'm going to start to peel it off the paper here. Just a minute. And bam. After playing around a little bit, it comes off. Like I said, you got to do like a sticker type deal. So sometimes it will cut through and it's going to take the whole entire paper with it, especially the backer. You don't want to have that on there, so you want to try to peel it off like a sticker, and you want to kind of stick the transfer tape on it, so when you start to peel the back off, it's still sticking to the transfer tape and it comes off just like that. What we're going to do here, I'm going to take the bottle, I'm going to put a support here so it doesn't roll on me too well. Put the tape measure there, see if that, there we go, that holds it. So, first thing you want to do, our friend alcohol comes in handy. You always want to clean your space, especially if you're putting it on metal. Alright, so you want to grab a rag, get some alcohol on it, you want to wipe it down. Down, let it dry up a little bit. I have to grab the other side, try to wipe off some of the excess. And just give it a second or two there. Just going to dry it up. Now I'm going to take the letter E, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to make it as straight as I can and as centered as I can. So I'm going to center it with the logo that's already on the cup. And we're going to put it about right here. That looks pretty good to me right there. You don't want to push it all the way down yet. You want to make sure you can get it all flat. So you got every piece that you want to be flat. And then take your spudger tool or scraper tool, whatever you want to call it. Rub it down really good. Get it on there. Make sure that vinyl sticks down right onto it. You want to make sure it's nice and tight. Sometimes you can even take your finger at it. Rub it down. Make sure it's all on there. The alcohol will help it stick. Trust me, it will. I always suggest putting a little bit of alcohol, especially if you're working with metal or containers or something like that. Now I'm going to peel the transfer tape. Bada boom, bada bing. Now let's take our hearts. Here's our hearts. Put the transfer tape back down. Rub those on there real good. Again, sometimes this happens. I kind of peel it, the sticker. There we go. And we're going to go back over here and how they were aligned on the computer. It just got to be precise, just how you want to make it. Put it back down. Rub those down. Smaller shapes are pretty easy to put down. So I just kind of rub them down with my finger really quick. And, oh, see, that one started coming off, so you want to make sure that's rubbed down really good. That's why you always want to go slow when you're peeling. Oh, see, that one started coming up too. A little bit of rubbing there, go, good. And last but not least, I like to kind of go right over the shapes, not too hard, because you don't want to end up pushing it off. You just want to rub it back down. Make sure they're sticking down really well. Bada boom, bada bing, guys, and we're all done. Now, last final step you could do a sealer to it. You could do like a Mod Podge. You could do an epoxy. I've seen people do spray paint sealer on it. So whatever you guys feel more comfortable doing, but I think it came out pretty good. So I did my best to not make this video super long, but it was requested by a few people, so I really wanted to go into detail so I can show them exactly how things are done with a vinyl cutter machine. Down below you can comment anything that you need help with. If you need me to guide you through something, I can gladly help you with that. If you have any questions at all, again, comment down below. I will help you out as much as I can. But that's it for this video. Stay tuned for more videos upcoming. All of you have a great night. Peace out.